Hello, welcome back to Survival Saturday with Johnny Tiger. The date is October 3rd, 2020. It is a very special day because October 3rd is my anniversary with my beautiful girlfriend. Um, this is our second anniversary, our 2 years anniversary. So even though we're not together physically in person because of the pandemic, but this is still a very special day. And hopefully, if all goes well, we get to see each other soon. But for now, since we don't get to see each other, get a lot of pent up aggression. So, what's those pent up aggression good for? For training, for Survival Saturday, and for when someone like this suddenly come up to me and stick a knife across my throat and demand for my money. The key that when someone do this, when someone hold a knife or a gun to you, demand for your money, I want to reiterate this. Always give them your money, okay? Unless you think they're going to hurt you regardless. Unless you think they're going to take your money and then ask for your car key and ask you to get in the car and then and so on and so on, okay? In those cases, that's time to fight. But rule number one, they demand for your money, you give them your money, okay? Uh, Rule number two, no matter what you want to do or what you don't want to do, look scared. That shouldn't be very hard, okay? Look scared. Someone stick a knife across my throat, okay? Even someone like me who knows what to do. It's really scary. I'm going to be scared, okay? I'm like, hey, take it easy, take it easy. Hey, it's okay. I don't want no trouble, no trouble. It's okay. Take it easy, man. Okay? Be careful with that knife, dude. It's okay. Okay? Third is you want them to talk. You want to keep them talking. Because human brain, for the most part, is very one track. If it's thinking about talking, it's going to be slower thinking about cutting your throat. So when someone sticks a knife or a gun to my face or to my throat, I'm always going to, or to my head, I'm always going to be asking them questions. Okay? Get them talking. They want something. Obviously, they want something. If they don't want anything, they come up and just cut my throat. Yeah, then that's very simple. No question asked. But since they go to the trouble of holding this to my throat, they want something. So first, give them what they demand for, or I put on my hey, it's okay, hey, sorry, what is it that you want? What is it that you want? Okay, what is it? What is it? You know, tell me what you want. Everything is okay. Get them talking. Get them talking. Okay, if you want to move, again, I highly recommend you don't do anything silly in this situation. But if you have to move, wait until they're responding. And then as soon as they're responding, look at my hand. My hands are already up and open, like showing him I don't have a weapon. Now, I do not want to reach up for his hand right away. The knife come up, the last thing you want to do is reach up for that hand. There's a moment you reach up for that hand, that person either going to smack you and then cut you or just cut you. Okay? Because you got to remember, the person putting the knife on you, the person putting the gun on you, quite often is as scared or more scared than you are. Okay? You don't want to make them nervous. They might even be drunk or high on something. Okay? Don't make them too twitchy. Okay? So, nice and calm, nice and scared, nice and low key. Hey, take it easy, man. What do you want? What is it that you want? Okay. Here's my wallet. Okay, what happened there? Slow motion this time. I say, what do you want? Okay, I don't have a. Take it easy, take it easy. I don't look very natural on camera because I'm trying to handle making sure uh, the arm of the training dummy, the armor Bruce, is in position. So he doesn't hold the knife very well. But so that's what. Like if this is a real person holding a knife, I would look a lot more natural. But because I have to balance him, so it's a little bit more difficult. But okay, slow motion. What did I do? Once I start to move, my arm go from outside in, homing into his wrist and his knife. I'm aiming for the hilt of the knife rather than his wrist or anything silly like that. Okay? Here's the reason why. If I hit his wrist, if I hit his elbow, his reflex is still going to cut me. But if I secure the hand gripping the knife, then I have a better chance of securing that. Step one, I deflect the knife away from me, from my own throat. I push it out of the way while turning, stepping in toward him. And then I jerk his arm down so the knife tip go back into his face, drag it down his chest, go in, hand immediately go to the jawline, to the side of the neck, to the face, step in, shove the knife into him again. At this point, his hands are still around the knife. I'm holding his hand around his own knife. Okay? Just so if the police show up, it's easy to see that he's the person holding the knife. I'm holding his hand. Okay? So we got his face, we got his chest, we got his shoulder, we got it hit into his head, and then at the last point, I pull away, break his elbow across my own body, and if I can, I take the knife away from him. Now, I do not show a lot of knife disarm or gun disarm on the Survival Saturday or Tactical Tuesday, and that's for good reason. Because for the most part, knife disarm, gun disarm is for stage only, for show only. I highly recommend you don't try them in a real situation. Because if you go into a situation, someone hold a knife to your throat, first, you don't know what this person is on. Second, you don't know their experience level. Third, you don't know how trained they are. Just these three reasons alone, you shouldn't try something like a disarm. Because if you go for a disarm, you'll either succeed or you will die. That's as simple as that. And even when you succeed, quite often you will end up losing a finger or getting your hand all slashed up, okay, or get a finger blown off by a bullet. When a knife is held to your throat, if you don't know any disarm technique, then you will most likely hand over what they want and you will survive. If a knife is held to your throat and you are very, very, very extremely good at your martial art or self-defense, you are going to disarm them and possibly get hurt in the process and you'll probably kill them in the process, in which case you got to deal with the court later. Yeah, it's self-defense, but you still have to go to court. But here's the biggest thing. If a knife is held against your throat and you are not as good as you think you were, and you go into your disarming move, especially if the person holding the knife to you is someone as sensitive, as quick, as trained, as experienced as even just me. I'm not like special forces or anything, but even someone like me, the moment you try to touch my hand, I rip the knife down your front, open you up from throat to groin. Not that I ever do that to anybody. I'm just saying, if I'm really scared, if I'm a criminal, I'm really scared, I'm really desperate, I hold the knife to your throat and you try to grab for it, I'm going to just rip it down your front. Okay? Most likely you will die. That is a little bit of a digress, a departure from what I actually want to talk about today. but it is also connected. You see, when I was in high school, when I was a teenager, one of the best compliments I ever got from quite a few of my friends. Well, back then I thought it was a compliment. Now I'm thinking back, maybe it was an insult. I don't know. It all depends on what you think. But back then, a lot of my friends said, man, when you fight, you move just like Steven Seagal. Well, back then, I really liked Steven Seagal, so I thought it was a compliment. And it's not until I grew up that I heard all the bad things associated with Seagal that I realized that maybe those weren't compliments. But the fact of it is, no matter what Steven Seagal has done, has not done, what's his personal life, how bad he is a person, and so on, he has some really cool moves. And it was pretty cool to have someone say, wow, you move just like Steven Seagal. Hey, that's almost as cool as someone say, hey, you move like Muhammad Ali, or so on and so on. Yeah, I know, Steven Seagal is not on the same level, nowhere on the same level as someone like Muhammad Ali. But I'm just saying, it was cool. It was good for the ego. But this is the thing. I knew I have a lot of movements similar to Steven Seagal. If my friend was going to say, well, you move like Jackie Chan, then I would not take that to heart because I know I don't do the same kind of stuff Jackie Chan does. If they say you move like Bruce Lee, I would say, well, no, no, I don't. Uh, nowadays a lot of people tell me you move just like Daredevil. And I said, no, I don't. And totally different fighting style. I don't do the kind of thing he does. I don't do all the cartwheels and somersaults, all the nonsense in the fight. But did I move like Steven Seagal? I totally did. And that is because I incorporate a lot of joint lock and manipulation, joint manipulation when I'm striking. So let's talk about joint manipulation. I hear a lot of people say that joint lock stuff, they don't work. The Aikido doesn't work. Hapkido doesn't work. These jujitsu moves, the judo moves, they don't work. Because there's no way for you to control a person like that when you're in a stand-up struggle and there's weapon involved and so on and so on. I have a very simple point that will tell you joint lock, joint manipulation definitely works because there is actually an UFC rule in UFC in almost all the professional jiu-jitsu tournaments. It said small joint manipulation is strictly not allowed. Now, if you think, I mean, if it doesn't work, then they wouldn't have to make a rule about it. So obviously this works. So they have to make a rule on that. Now, why is it so hard to make it work? Why is joint manipulation, joint lock so hard to get working? I'm going to tell you guys uh, some of the don'ts that people do that makes them fail when they're trying to do a joint lock. Number one, when you are fighting in a tournament, when you have gloves, when you have shin pad and all kind of guards on you, trying to get that joint lock to work is very difficult because there's a lot of support. Okay, when that boxing glove is on and the wrist support is on and the hand is wrapped, you want to try to joint lock their wrist. You're gonna wrist lock them. It's very difficult. Someone who's really good can still get it, but it's really, really difficult. And you might have to get hit many, many times before you get that. So that is the first reason. You got to look at where you are, what you're wearing, what your opponent's wearing, before you try something like that. Number two, intentional joint lock. almost always fail. What is intentional joint lock? Let's say I get into a fight with Bruce, and he starts swinging at me, trying to go at my face. If my whole mindset here is, I'm going to grab that arm and I'm going to get that fancy wrist lock on, then it's like fishing, okay? He's hitting away, he doesn't have to worry about where he's hitting, he just keeps hitting, and I'm fishing for that arm, and I keep getting hit. And here's the thing, every time you get hit in a fight, it will stun your system. And no matter how good you are, unless you are some like real professional, even real professional experience this. You get hit, your whole system pauses for that 0.25 seconds. For most normal people, it might be up to 1 second or 2 seconds, but for a professional, 0.25, 0.3 seconds. But there's still a pause, especially when the person hitting you is hitting you really hard. So every time you get hit, you are 0.25 seconds behind. And then you get hit again, now you're 0.5 seconds behind. You get hit again, now you're 0.75 seconds behind. So the more you try to fish for that arm, the more they're going to be hitting you, and the more behind you are, the more injured you are. You're not going to succeed in your joint lock, okay? Number three, perhaps one of the um, most important thing about joint lock is a lot of people, they try to grab, to step in and do the fancy stuff, okay? Again, we can call this point number three, forced joint lock. Forced joint lock, okay? It's bad to go in with the intention of joint locking, joint manipulation, and it's even worse to go in with the intention of forcing this to happen. Okay, let's say this person, the Bruce, grabbed my neck. Okay, he grabbed my neck, and I think, okay, now he's not swinging. I got his arm right here. Then I can go in and grab his elbow and swing his elbow around, and then pull him over the other way and break his arm. Okay? But I forget, he already got a grip on me. So the moment I go for his elbow, he just squeezes. He squeezes, choke out my breath, and I don't have any way to get that super big arm to release me. Okay? So don't force it, don't do it intentionally, and always pay attention to what they are wearing, what you are wearing. The best kind of joint lock, the best time for it to happen, the kind of joint lock that will work is when you incorporate it into something, when you get opportunistic about it, when you see an opportunity and you go for it. Don't try to force it to happen. For example, because of the nature of the practice dummy, I won't be able to show you guys a lot of joint lock here, but I'm going to show you guys a few. Let's say this person grabbed my shirt. If I go into it with the intention of bending his finger back, if he's super strong, it's going to fail. If he hit me with his other hand, it's going to fail. But if he grabbed my shirt and I immediately pop him in the face, now his attention is he's lagging. He's already behind because I hit him in the face, and now I come back, grab the hand, bring the finger. I hold his hand with my thumb at the base of his finger, and the rest of my fingers cupping the back of his knuckles. I hit him in the face. I cup his hand and drag it down, bending the finger back toward his wrist. Okay, and then I'm not going to stay here. I'm not going to stay here because the moment I do this, if I do it right, I pull his finger down and back. he's going to drop to his knee. The moment he drops to his knee, my knee comes up into his face. The fight is over. I'm not going to stand there and hold the joint lock for him to tap or some nonsense like that. Okay? Say someone come up and start swinging, rather than trying to force that joint lock, trying to step in and try to grab his arm. Okay, he's swinging. Okay, that's fine. He swing at me. I am going to intercept his swing with my own hand. So when I step in, I'm going to put my forearm in the way of his hand. Okay, so he swing, I block and step in. Now I deflect his punch. My elbow going to his face. The hand I blocked with already trapped his arm, and now all I have to do is step back and spin in, bring my elbow down on his elbow to break his joint. Let's say someone is accosting me and he grabbing my shirt around the shoulder area. If I do what a lot of people who like to do joint locks would do, if I take this chance and bring my arm down on his forearm and trying to do the joint lock here, he most likely is going to headbutt me, right? Or kick me in the groin, or all kind of stuff. So, rather than doing that, the moment he grabs me on my shoulder, I'm not going to worry about joint lock. I shuffle in right here, hand swinging into the groin, elbow coming up into the chin, and then I shuffle and turn. As I turn, I bring his hand with me and twist it around, snapping the wrist. Hit, control, and joint lock. Joint lock should not come first. Okay? Make your joint lock part of the package, but never the package. And you'll find that your joint lock will work a lot better. Thank you for checking out today's Survival Saturday. We'll be back again tomorrow for Soul Search Sunday. For now, happy anniversary to my and my beautiful girlfriend, and have a good night.